For more videos on people's struggles, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Parliamentary elections were held in Colombia on March 13, 2 months ahead of a crucial presidential election. The leftist Historic Pact achieved major gains, ending up as the leading party in the Senate and second in the Chamber of Representatives. The elections were held amid mass dissatisfaction with the right-wing government of Ivan Duque and massive violence against activists and social leaders. On the same day, presidential primaries were also held for each of the parties and blocs. Gustavo Petro, the progressive former mayor of Bogota, emerged as the leading candidate for the Historic Pact and will contest the presidential election. How were these parliamentary elections significant for Colombia? What agenda does Gustavo Petro present to the people and what has been his record? Zoe Alexandra of People's Dispatch explains.
Hi, this is Zoe, and welcome back to Dispatches from Latin America. Today, we're going to talk about Colombia and the legislative elections that were held on Sunday, March 13th. So these were, of course, the first elections held in the country since the beginning of the pandemic. These elections are held in a moment of great turmoil in Colombian society. Ivan Duque, the current president of Colombia, is one of the most unpopular leaders, not only in Colombia, but across the continent. He has extremely low approval ratings, and this is largely due to his handling of the pandemic, the lack of care for the Colombian population in terms of providing financial assistance, social assistance throughout this pandemic, and of course, crucial public health measures. Colombia has been one of the most hardest hit countries in the region in terms of COVID deaths and COVID infections. And this has really had an impact on his approval rating. Of course, in the second hand, on the other hand, there's, of course, the pressing issue of the continuation of the armed conflict in Colombia. There has been very high rates of violence in the territories that Colombian leaders had promised after the signing of the peace agreements in 2016, that all of this violence would magically disappear. And under Ivan Duque, this violence has not only not disappeared, but has increased. The number of social leaders, of human rights defenders, and of former guerrilla combatants of the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia has risen to an alarming rate. Over 1,200 of these people have been killed since 2016. And in the last couple of years, the numbers of massacres that have been happening to the civilian population has been astounding. Over 90 last year. And this year, there's already a worrying number. And so this has really put these elections in a very important moment where people are really demanding change. They're no longer sitting by, they're no longer tolerating the status quo. This was really expressed through the mass social uprising that took place April, May, June of 2021, where hundreds of thousands of Colombians of all ages, across economic sectors, across the entire country, took to the streets in rejection of the tax reform bill, but really this mobilization blossomed into so much more. So in this context is when these legislative elections take place. This is the first phase of the electoral process in Colombia. In May, Colombians will go to the polls to participate in the first round of the presidential elections. They will be electing their president and vice president for the next 4 years. And most likely they will go to a second round, which will